Hey Amanda, overall these look really, really, really good. So let's go through. So blind crosses first on this exercise. So first of all, love your position, everything as you're coming up on this nice straight line there. Really nice supporting that backside. And look at that, you see him over your right shoulder right there. So that's really perfect, nicely done. And it looks very easy. And then again, showing the difference in the front of this jump up here versus the back is your position as he's exiting that tunnel. You're setting a really, really, really nice line so that he knows he's going to the wing that time. So that looks perfect. Nicely done. And then on this one, I know your comment that whiskey slowed you down, and I totally agree with that. You had plenty of time to go up and do the blind cross, obviously. So, and I can see you're preparing for the whiskey here by being basically next to him as he's landing. On this jump back here, you're just a little bit in front of him, no big deal. And lots of really, really, really good connection, lots of forward motion, so we know he's slicing that. So all of that looks perfect. And again, really nice position and line setting there so he can see the backside. And it's very clear that that's where he's going, so that looks really great. And exercise 2. So all of this is perfect, setting him up there. And so here, right when he's landing, showing a little bit of rhythm change, you're kind of turning that shoulder down just a bit so he knows he's going to the front of the jump. And you can see it's kind of hard to see. He's got a nice line, and then right there, he really has to dig in. So he's kind of digging in right before he's taking off. So what I would probably do, and it's nothing major, I mean, everything worked out just fine, is the decel that you're showing right there, I would show that decel right before he's taking off for this jump. So that instead, because his line's kind of going up, turning, and kind of doing that, all right, what I would like to see is a lot smoother, something like that from him. Okay, so again, all I'm doing is nitpicking because overall this is pretty excellent. The rest of this looks really perfect. No issues at all. I know he's getting a little upset at this jump, and I think I heard you on one of yours of get over the jump, something like that. So kind of the issue with this jump, which is why I wanted to set this up, is he's on a right lead, which is totally normal. You're on his right side. That is a nice straight line, but most dogs, so dogs can run straight on any lead, but they do like turning just slightly towards their handlers. All right, so they like to mostly run straight. This is a very, very straight line. He's trying to turn in just slightly to make it easy on him. And so you do have to support that jump, and you're doing an excellent job each time of making sure that you're supporting that. And so here with the blind cross instead. So the only thing I would change here is I would really watch your position. So thinking about you're on the takeoff side of this jump right here, okay? And so he can keep going on to the landing side, which is what he's doing, but naturally he's going to want to do something like that. He's going to kind of want to stay up closer to you. So I don't have any issues with what you're doing. I would just kind of watch how often it occurs. And if you start having issues with a forced front cross, a blind cross, something like that, where instead of him turning up to you like you want, he's continuing on in that same direction, and we can kind of deal with that if it comes along. I don't like to fix things if they're not broken, that kind of thing. But I would probably have put you on this side of the jump instead. Makes it easier to support him into that tunnel. Okay? And so I really like this blind cross so much better than the rear cross for you. You're looking very, very nicely over your left shoulder well before he's taking off. He's one stride out, and he can see that in his line. Looks really, 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 really perfect right there. So I like that so much better. And if I remember correctly on your comments, you were surprised that you were liking all the blind crosses with him. And I think that's good. I think it's good to learn new things. So last exercise. And And so I like each of these, and going into this tunnel, I see that opposite arm coming up, and really, 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 really nice. And I think it's very important because it really looks like he's coming in, and he does have to turn away just slightly. Otherwise, it's very easy for him to go into that other tunnel entrance. So you did an excellent job each of these tries that I saw. And so you guys do the whiskey so nice and easy together. And I know you have to stand there and wait for him in this particular sequence, but it is nice to have that in your toolbox. And nice job supporting this tunnel, getting up there to show him that's where it is. So that looks really good. And I'm glad you fixed your force front to front. You said you had to do it a couple times just because you were doing it incorrectly. So I think it's nice to be able to go through that and get that practice in really well. So really good here. Great position next to this wing. So all of that looks wonderful. Turning, really great, and keeping a really good connection to him. Perfect example that he can drift a little bit behind you. He fixes that line really nicely. So I like that there. And again, really nice driving into that tunnel for him. So that looks really great. Overall, really nicely done. This backside send is actually a running on the dog's line. So I'll kind of go through that because I know you like keeping track of names of things. So really perfect, wonderful backside commitment, and before he's taking off, you are making it over to that second wing. So I know we talked quite a bit about the Germans. This is a very similar technique to a German. So in a German turn, he would be landing behind you there because you would be looking over your right shoulder at some point. And in a running on the dog's line, why it's called that is naturally this is kind of his line is coming in back there, and you can see you are very clearly across that line. So if we keep that line there, right here, you're crossing it before he's taking off, so he knows he's not continuing on in this direction, okay? So he knows he's turning up towards you there. And running on the dog's line in German's very, very similar. There is no side change in a running on the dog's line like you're showing there. So you executed that really nicely. Look at you and all the blind crosses just naturally happening. Good job.